يوم نعيم لكلكم وشات حداشot 2026 نعمot wu-barikhot لكلكم. My presentation today is about the Phoenician Punic passages of Poenulus, or the Little Carthaginian, a play by Titus, Maccius, Plautus, circa 194 BC. And it's based on a Greek comedy called Carchedonius. Some historical facts about the play. The Latin play by Titus Plautus was likely written from 194 to 189 BC. It is based on a previous Greek comedy called Carchedonius, the Carthaginian, the man from Carthage, whose author was likely Menander, circa 342 to 290 BC. Menander was the great Athenian comedian. Scholars suggest that the scene was probably a street in Athens. The Greek text manuscript is fragmentary on papyri found in Egypt. Poenulus, the Little Carthaginian, premiered circa 195 BC. The setting was likely a street in Calydon, in front of houses and a temple of Venus. This comedy is noticeable for a sympathetic Carthaginian character, Hanno, shortly after the Punic Wars, and the extensive Punic language dialogue, which is very rare in Roman literature. Some historical facts about the play, the principal manuscripts. So we have few manuscripts for this text, and then we have the Ambrosianus, referred to by letter capital A, Decurtatus with letter D, Parisianus with letter P, Turnebi with letter T. And so all these are manuscripts. So we start with the Codex Ambrosianus. It was an Ambrosian palimpsest dated from the 4th to the 5th century AD and is preserved in the Biblioteca Ambrosiana in Milan, Italy, and is one of the most important manuscripts, which contains variant readings that are often older and in more difficult forms. The Codex Decurtatus is a medieval manuscript that preserves a substantial portion of the Plautus comedies, often used to confirm or correct readings in the Ambrosianus. The Codex Parisianus from the 10th to 11th century AD come to us from monasteries in France, and it's held in the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, provides additional variants and sometimes unique readings, and contains accumulated errors. The Codex Turnebi, referred to by the letter T, was a lost codex named after Adrian Turnebi, who lived from 1512 to 1565 AD in the late 19th century. Copies of the Plautus that matched readings from this codex were found in the Bodleian Library. This codex was published by Clarendon Press, Oxford, 1898. It offered a unique variant readings that help scholars reconstruct the text more accurately. The Punic passages in Act 5 are especially challenging, and scholars often have to consult all these codices that we talked about alongside later commentary in order to be able to interpret the text correctly. And nonetheless, we have different interpretation of those texts. Some information about the play. The argument of the play. I have it here in English and here corresponding Latin. So it's about a 7-year-old boy. His name now is Agorastocles, and he is a young gentleman of Calydon, who was kidnapped from Carthage. An old woman hater purchased this boy, adopted him, and made him his heir. Later on, 2 of the boy's relatives' girls were stolen, and their nurse with them. And these 2 girls are Adelphasium and anterastilis, the girls bought by Lysis. And their nurse is Gidenis, nurse of Adelphasium and Anterastilis. Lysius buys them and torments the young lover, but the lover's bailiff with a bag of gold is fobbed off upon the pimp, so implicating him in the theft of those two girls. Hanno the Carthaginian is the other important person, a gentleman of Carthage. He is actually the father of the two daughters, the girls, both by Lysis, Adelphasium and Anterastilis, and he is the uncle of Agorastocles. So Hanno the Carthaginian arrives, finds the lover, who is his nephew, and recognizes his long-lost daughters. So how were the Punic texts written? These were written in a continuous Latin script, like here, and that's why it's a bit difficult to decipher them. So we are going to see this written differently in another slide. Latin text of the Phoenician passages of Hanno's speech with its two versions. So this is the number of the version, the first version, li-adonenu, alonot, ishkaroti. So we're going to discuss this further. And those two versions appear to convey the same meaning. In this first part of my presentation, I'm going to be focusing on the first version, that is the this version here. The next version I'm going to discuss in my second part of this presentation. Again, in this slide, we can see the Latin alphabet text of the Phoenician passages of Hanno's speech with its two versions. So this is the first version, continuation of the first version, and this is here the second version. We're going to discuss this later and try to read this for you. So this is not gibberish, this is Phoenician or Punic written in the Latin alphabet. So we're going to discuss this further in this presentation. In this slide, I'm going to talk to you about the Latin text of Hanno's speech or Hanno's monologue, as it is present in the play in its Latin translated form. And since this text dates before Christ, so I will try to read it to you in the classical Latin, reconstructed Latin reading rather than the ecclesiastical Latin reading. And I'm going to read it line by line. So line 1, Deos deasque veneror, vi hanc urbem colunt. Line 2, ut quod de meare hunc veni rite venerim. Line 3, Measque hic ut gnatas et mihi fratris filium. Line 4, Reperire me siritis di vostram fidem. Line 5, sed hic mihi ante hac hospes antidamas fuit. Line 6, eum fecisse aiunt, sibi quod faciundum fuit. Line 7, eius filium esse hic praeditant agorastoclem. Line 8, ad eum hospitalem hanc tesseram mecum fero. Line 9, is in hisce habitare monstratus regionibus. Hos precontabor qui hinc egrediniuntur foras. And here we have the English translation of the equivalent Latin text. And I'm going to read both versions to you. So this is, so we have 10 lines, but 2 versions on each line. So the verse 930, the gods and goddesses whom I have invoked that are of this place. The line 940, the gods and goddesses whom I have invoked, that they rejoice this place. Line 2, verse 931, I shall ask that I may complete my business here, and that they may bless my outcome. 941, I have hotly asked that my coming may be completed, and that my lambs may be matured. Line 3, verse 932. Oh, may I get my daughters here and restore my brother's son. 942. Oh, may my getting come to pass, ye gods. Here may my cause be precious. Line 4, verse 1933. Through the intercession of the gods' protection and through their rectitude. 943. 2 daughters, a son carried off, console their weeping lords. Line 5, 935. Lo, in the time of assemblies, Antidamas was my guest friend here. Verse 944. Here was this Antidamas, and it was said, thou dost it. Line 6, 935. A man of whom they used to say, thou hast done all that was as it should be done. 945. Thy duties and law all is perfect, and as that which is made to happen to be done. Line 7, 936. As to my kinsman's son, there is a rumor. Lo, Agorastocles is with us here. Verse 947. As to my kinsman's son, he lives. There is a rumor. Lo, he is Agorastocles. So this is a continuation of those 10 lines. And as you may have realized, this is written in Old English or in Victorian English. So we're going to continue the reading for you. So line 8, and this is verse 937. The sign of my trust is a friendship token which I have borne with me. 947. What is with me is a support. I have borne with me a friendship token. Line 9, verse 938. To us there is a testimony that these are the borders of their dwelling. 948. Here there is a rumor said, is the vicinity which is their dwelling. 910, last line, verse 939. While I am on the look, lo, I will ask them that come out from here. 949. I shall wait at the mansion. While I am here, I will ask them that come out from here. Suggested reconstructed Punic transcription of Hanno's speech, the main version, in the modified Latin alphabet. And here I have mainly relied on the work of Dr. Charles Kramalkov, who is my boss or patron with everything Phoenician. I have also made some editing to his work with the experience that I have accumulated over the years. dealing with the Phoenician language and Phoenician grammar with the presentations of different Phoenician inscriptions on my YouTube channel, and the studies that I had to do to prepare for those presentations. So we're going to talk in this slide and the next slide about the main version of Hanno's speech or Hanno's monologue in a Phoenician reconstructed Punic text. So line 1 reads, Eit alonimu alonot, paroti ha mushiim et hamakom haze. Transliteration, Eit alonim u alonot, paroti ha mushiim et hamakom haze. English translation, I invoke the gods and goddesses who provide for the welfare of this city. Line 2, Ki im lachet be'it tamim yibruchu mitzai. Transliteration, Ki im lachet be'it tamim yibruchu mitzai. English translation, that having come hither, they, the gods and goddesses, may bless my outings. 3. Li ipok et binuti im bin huyi. Transliteration, li ipok et binuti im bin ahuyi. English translation, to get my daughters with my brother's son. Line 4. Bimarub shilochom alonim bimistrochom. Transliteration, Bimarub shilochom alonim bimistrochom. English translation, in your custody, O gods, and under your protection. Line 5. Be'it yamot hinokot holech sheli antidamas kon. Be'it yamot hinokot holech sheli antidamas kon. English translation, in the days when Antidamas was my host in this same house. Line 6. Hesh ish dobrim ki yipal eyet kil ish gmo kon lipol. Transliteration, Esh ish dobrim ki yipal eyet kil ish gmo kon lipol. English translation, people used to say that he had done what he ought to do. Suggested reconstructed Punic transcription of Hanno's speech, the main version, and the modified Latin alphabet. This is a continuation of the previous slide. And line 7, we read, Eit bin im ish duber hinokot hu agorasto plem. Transliteration, Eit bin im ish duber hinokot hu agorasto kles or agorasto plem. English translation, as for the son, one says that he is here, he is agorastokles. Line 8. Eyet emanti hu horesh ha-helichot or helichot aze nashoti. Transliteration, Eyet emanti hu horesh ha-helichot aze nashoti. English translation, to whom I have trusted this shard of hospitality which I carry. Line 9. Bodli ki toles illi gubulim la shebatim. Transliteration, Bodli ki toles illi gubulim la shebatim. English translation, it appears to me that where you walk is the border of their dwelling. Line 10. Bod litor aneinu ish lomin limin ko yotzim. Transliteration, Bod litoreinenu ish limin ko yotzim. English translation, I shall inquire about those coming out of here. So apart from the long monologue of Hanno, we have also some short Punic passages in the play. And these are the verses here, and then a proposed hinted English translation of the Latin text. So I'm going to just read to you here the English translation, and then I'm going to attempt a Punic reconstruction of those verses. So in verse 995, translation would be, I am Hanno, son of Miton Baal, a senator. Or verse 998, translation, hail my Lord, how doni. 1002, the morrow be with thee. 1006, translation, so the man there is not a physician. A line or verse 1010, translation, an explanation is already given. Who pray will lead them, if not I. Line 1013 or verse 1013, go on or just go on, slave to get thrashed. Verse 1016, Sam, translation, he is guilty. And these are the rest of the short Punic passages with the proposed English translation hinted by the Latin text. So we don't have an obvious or clear Latin translation of those short passages like we have for the monologue. So the translation is just hinted by the Latin text or the Latin conversation of this play. So in verse 1017, wonderful oration, you are a kid. In verse 1023, the lack wits that I have tumbled on. Verse 1027, exaltations to Baal. May the heaven God be deaf to such gabble. Number 1141, boy, be easy, thou who art mine, be easy, my son, my own, my joy. And other verse 1142, translation, how great is my delight, thou art my happiness. It's used to be written in the text as gaiety. Gaiety is happiness. That's how the word used to mean in the 1800s. Now it means a different thing. My blood is night mist. I am fair flustered. The short Punic passages, a proposed reconstruction. This is based on, again, the work of Dr. Krahamalkov and also some editing by myself. So verse 995 would read, Hanno ben miton Baal adir me'at anichi. Transliteration, Hanno ben miton Baal adir me'at anichi. English translation, Hanno, son of Miton Baal, a senator I am. Verse 998, Hawo Adoni. Transliteration, Hawo Adoni. English translation, long live my Lord. Verse 1002, Mehor Bocha. Transliteration, Mehor Bocha. English translation, may tomorrow come to you, or tomorrow comes to you. Continuation of the short Punic passages proposed reconstruction. So for verse 1006, we read, Ish Sham Bal Rupe or Rufehu. Transliteration, Ish Sham Bal Rufehu. English translation, the man there is not a physician. Verse 1010, Mu Pursha, Mu Hu Yoleth, Aniki or Anichi. Transliteration, Mu Pursha, Mu Huyulech, Anichi. English translation, explain to me who will lead on the road, I or myself. Verse 1013. Lech, lechana, anni, limitsanekes. Transliteration, lech lechana, onne, limitsanekes. English translation, go away to the exit of your perdition. Verse 1016, asham. Transliteration, asham. English translation, guilty. Similar to the Arabic athim, one who commits a sin. Verse 1017, Pa'alu Omer, Giddi o Gadi Ata. Giddi o Gadi Ata. Transliteration, Pa'alu Omer, Gadi Ata. English translation, they have done it. You are a kid. And these are the remaining short Punic passages with the proposed reconstruction. So verse 1023, Mu ponim sikartim pal yadata. Transliteration, Mu ponim sikartim bal yadata. English translation, do you, in plural, remember any Punic? And then the response is nothing you know. Verse 1027, Kunepti Baal Shamim Yerash. Transliteration, Gunnepti Baal Shamim Yerash. English translation, I was robbed, may Baal shake the heavens. And from verses 1141 to 1142, we read, Hawo Adon Sheli, Hawo Banesh Sheli, Al Anichi Ishti Maim, Nishti Ayin, Nishti Dom Ait. Transliteration, Hawo Adon Sheli, Hawo bin Sheli, Al Anichi Ishti Maim, Nishti Ayin, Nishti Dom Ait. English translation, long live my master or father, long live my son. I will not drink water, we will drink wine, we will drink the blood of the vine. I thought at the beginning of this year, I would like to wish you a happy new year in Phoenician. This video is being registered on the day of the feast of Saint Anthony, who is my name saint, Saint Anthony the Great of Egypt, the father of monastic life and the Christian unified church. So happy Saint Anthony's Day, but let us also wish you all a happy new year in Phoenician. Shat hadashot li-adonenu yeshou'a hamashiach. 2026 נעמות ובריחות לכל אדומים טובים ישמעו בדוברי על יוטיוב קנל שלי. Transliteration, שעת חדשות li-adonenu ישוע המשיח 2026 נעמות ובריחות לכל אדמים טובים ישמעו בדוברי על יוטיוב קנל שלי. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time for the second part of this presentation. And these are my references for this video presentation. And on the slide is the continuation of my references for this video presentation. Thank you for watching and see you next time. God bless you all.